Hi guys. As you know, a few weeks ago I interviewed the former Bradford City player Kevin Sanasy down at the Acorn in Aldwick. So first of all, thank you to Michelle and Rick for letting me film outside the pub. Really, I do appreciate that. And also thank you to Kevin. So if you've got time, guys, don't forget, before we crack on with today's video, if you can click subscribe, that'll be a massive, massive help. Don't forget to click that notification bell and give it a thumbs up as well. If I can try and get maybe 50 likes on the video, 50 likes on this video, that'll massively, massively help. Secondly, but thank you to Mike Mitchell for syncing the audio and video of this interview. So without further ado, let's crack on with this interview with the former Bradford City player Kevin Sanasy. So here we are with another edition of Bantams Small Talk, sponsored by Peckover Transport. With you, give you results and not excuses today. I'm delighted to be joined by another former Bradford City, Kevin Sanasy. So first of all, Kevin, thanks for coming, and I take it you like a good old cruise camper.
I like a good drink.
Yep. So first of all, I've spoken to some fans. Some of us fans can remember you, like my friend Stuart Morehouse, and some fans unfortunately can't. Can you please remind fans what position you played in and when you played for this club, from and when to?
Yeah, so I played anywhere up front, so I was striker mainly all the way through. I signed for Bradford City in October 1994.
Yep.
I was 9-year-old at the time, the same week as Danny Forrest, again another young talented player that came through the ranks. And yeah, played till I was 23. Unfortunately that's when I got released, yeah.
Yep, and obviously, did you ever score for Bradford City? I think I've seen that you scored a few, and do you know who those were against? Can you remember? What year maybe?
I scored on my home debut actually,
yeah,
against Wimbledon, AFC Wimbledon.
Oh, well. Yep.
Yeah, Wimbledon. And I think it was my home debut, like I said. But my debut was at Sheffield United about 2 months before that. Yeah. Yeah,
but obviously you and then obviously after Bradford City, before Bradford City, who did you play before Bradford City? And
so I started playing as a 4-year-old actually at Farser Celtic. Now they didn't have them sort of ages at the time, so I was playing with lads or teams that were 2-3 years older than me. So my brother played for Farser Celtic, and yeah, so I played for Farser all the way through up until I played. Obviously signed at Bradford City, and then I played for Leeds City Boys because I went to a Leeds school.
Yep. Was it your hope to perhaps be an even bigger name at Bradford City? Did you hope to progress a bit further and perhaps be one of the really top guys? Because obviously there's people that are well known. And I definitely remember you playing. And so, what was your aim? If you could turn back your career now, would you want to play for the club longer?
Oh yeah, it was without a shadow of a doubt. I had plenty of opportunities with clubs coming in to buy, put monetary bids in for me as a youngster, on the cuff of playing for England at under 15s, under 16s, under 17s.
Yep. But
yeah, no, obviously the ideal world and what I envisaged was playing for Bradford City for a long time, and obviously scoring plenty of goals and having a great career with Bradford. It obviously just didn't pan out that way, which for whatever reason.
Don't worry about that. That's why I wanted to interview somebody different. Got to give everybody a chance. And talking of when you were young, if you could give yourself some advice to a younger self at any age, what would that be, and why would that be?
I've got looking back, I think I liked partying too much. I always looking back now, I always thought that probably what I did on the pitch,
yep,
scoring goals and working hard, and that was enough. But in actual fact, when you look back over time and obviously players that were 10 times, a million times bigger than me, they have to, or they do sacrifice a lot more than probably I did. I always thought that what I did on the pitch was enough and scored goals, and even to this day, like I spoke to David Weatherall actually a year or two ago, and he says even to this day that there's nobody that's ever scored more goals than me in the youth team. So, and he always, when he was a fair few years back now, he was the youth team manager.
Yep.
And he said to me that he always speaks to, or did at the time, spoke to players and said we had such a talented array of young talent coming through, and he always said, he mentioned my name as in terms of, don't think that you, just because you're a good player or just because you can score goals, that you should not work as hard as other people or not want to sacrifice. I think that's probably the biggest downfall, really.
Yep.
Whether me face fit with certain managers, obviously it didn't fit with certain managers, which is fine. I always remember Nicky Law giving me my debut at 17, and I remember travelling down to West Ham at the time, and I had a bit of a fallout on the team bus with Gareth Edds. He made some comment that I didn't appreciate at the time, being quite a young, feisty 17-year-old. Didn't want to take any nonsense from all the players and stood my ground and kind of put him in his place. But then on the Monday morning after the game, going to training, and Nicky Law pulled me to one side and said, don't ever speak to one of my senior players like that again. But he also taught me a good life lesson, actually, that he said, although I don't like you as a person, you are by far good enough to be playing in my first team. So he said, don't. He said, you need to work harder. He says, because I don't particularly like you, so you need to work harder and go under the radar really a little bit. So yeah, it was quite good. And
obviously, talking of your teammates, you've just mentioned a couple. Can you remember who else you played alongside? What maybe the starting 11 and maybe the subs were?
What youngsters that came through the ranks with me?
Yeah, or when you actually played for the first team, maybe City.
First team. One that stuck out the most that Bradford fans may not remember that well is Andy Gray.
Oh, Andy Gray, yeah.
Andy Gray.
He was my favourite, so if you're listening, Gray, I want you next. But
honestly, people ask me all the time, who's one of the best players or who's the best player that you played with. Yes, I was lucky enough to train with Benito Carbone. I remember first day training, I was only on 15 at the time, but I was training with a youth team, and he turned up and it was like mayhem, cameras everywhere, and I just stood back and watched in awe of kind of what he did, because that particular day we were doing little skills games and things like that, and honestly I was lucky enough that he was in the team next to me, and I can just remember just watching him, just thinking, oh my god, he's unreal. I didn't play with him, I wasn't that fortunate, and probably not that good, which is fine, but Andy Gray always used to put his arm around me when I played with him, whether we were in first team or whether we were in the reserves. Fantastic player, fantastic role model, and obviously it's paying off now with one of his sons just signing for Tottenham for 40 million, and his younger son Harry is supposed to be actually better by all accounts. So yeah, there's again, there were like Gus Ullenbeck, there was Lewis Emmanuel, who's one of my good friends. Actually, I've not seen him for a long time, but we're actually meeting up on Sunday. Andy Lee, Ben Jones, Adam Hardy, John Swift, Danny Forrest, Tom Penford. Again, Tom Penford grew up with. He's from Leeds, so he played. He signed for Bradford a year or two after me. Tom, an unbelievable footballer. What he could do with football. Shame that Bradford City fans never got to saw the full a player like him over a long period of time. But like I said, at the time that I were at Bradford, in and around the first team, they were unfortunately on a massive decline from Premier League into Championship, and then obviously the rest is history, really, League 1 and 2. But there's been so many young talented players that I've played with alongside for a long period of time through all the all the ages up to youth team and into reserves and everything. So yeah, we're very good times, really.
Yeah, my next question is to you. Obviously, I've seen Bradford City like you. I've gone from high to low, and obviously, hopefully this year will finally get out of League Two. What's your message to fans that maybe are thinking that sometimes maybe I've stopped going to the club just because we're not up at the levels where we were? I can understand there's been a lot of frustration through maybe the change things that have gone over through the past years of ownership and all that. Obviously, I'm mentioning no names, but I think no matter how hard life gets or whatever your club's doing, I think personally to me, you should always stick by your club 100%. What do you think about that? What message would you give to fans? Because obviously they're all entitled to their opinions.
Yeah, definitely.
And like, I've got absolutely nothing against that. It's just things that upset me when people go perhaps a little bit beyond that and always seem to be finding something to snag at.
I just think that probably the biggest thing that Bradford, not that are doing wrong, I think looking back at like the time that I obviously signed, I was at the club like 14 years, so it was a long time. I think they've lost what the club was built on. Like obviously mid-90s to early 2000s, Bradford City as a football team have never been the best footballing team, but they've had the will, the desire. They've had players that are willing to run through brick walls for each other. They've had characters. They've had really strong mentally warriors that literally once they step over the line would give everything for the club. I still speak to Jamie Lawrence every now and again, and for me he epitomises what Bradford City were built on. Work ethic, desire. Again, not a naturally talented footballer like he would always say, but sometimes your work rate and your desire and everything else that you're willing to give on the pitch wins football games rather than actually talent or better teams.
Have you ever thought about getting into coaching? Because obviously I've tried to read up on you, but obviously what I've read is not 100%. So have you ever thought about getting into coaching, or have you ever done coaching that I'm not aware of or anyone's not aware of?
Well, it's funny actually, because I was kind of done with football at an early age. I think I retired from playing at 30 because I lost the love of the game. I was playing non-league for a long time, and I just, after work, travelling down to likes of Boston and 2-3 hours getting home at 1 o'clock in the morning, just I fell out of love with it. And me obviously we were pregnant at the time, and I just called it a day really. But with my wife, she was sick and tired of listening to me talking about football, and like people always, no matter where you're at, people still recognise me in Bradford, so they still want to sit and have a chat with me about football, or friends, family, they all talk about football. And like I say, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I always talk about football. And my wife actually, without me knowing, booked me onto my UEFA B coaching licence.
Oh, brilliant.
So I did that back in 2018.
All right.
So I've been coaching now, actually went back to Bradford to the foundation, the FDP. So I was coaching from 2018 to 2021 with Bradford FDP. During that time, Bradford City actually contacted me and asked me to take their under-16s. Unfortunately, it was going to be too much commitment to be doing three nights a week and a weekends with a young family and work. So I sadly declined that. But and I've been at Guiseley since 2021, taking their under-15s and 16s. And I've just actually moved to Farsley Celtic, back to obviously where I started. So
all right, good luck for that one.
So yeah, so we start a week on we start next Tuesday.
All right, well, good luck on that one. Maybe on sort of disability football. Obviously, you'll know that I just sort of last year was gone back to play for the Bradford City disability team, because obviously, and look, touch wood, I've been playing a couple of league games this year, but not too many because I work.
Yeah.
But what's your thoughts on disability football and fans or people that want to play football getting to emulate their club? And have you ever watched Bradford City disability play?
I've not watched Bradford disability play. I think it's fantastic for people. Football means so much to people in different ways, different things, and the passion that every fan has for their club. If you can represent Bradford City disability and you obviously love the badge. So for me, I think it's great. I think
Yep.
people should enjoy football for what it is, and get out of it what they want, whatever level that is. So whatever level of football that people play, it's fantastic because it's like you say, it should be there for everybody.
Yep, and before we sort of have a bit of fun, who was your idol as a kid? And if you could, who did you hope to emulate as a player, or who would you want to emulate now as a player?
Growing up, I've got to say that two. There was Patrick Kluivert and Gabriele Batistuta.
Huh.
Yeah, two obviously foreign players. Obviously used to watch Gazzetta on Channel 4. Absolutely love them too. I think Patrick Kluivert for me and Gabriele Batistuta, two really strong strikers, and I absolutely loved watching them. Yeah.
And what interest have you got outside football? I understand you just told me that you played golf with James Hansen. By the way, guys, by the time you watch this interview, the James Hansen will be up. So thanks to Mike Mitchell for editing that, and he'll be also editing the sound for this one, buddy. So.
Yeah, golf definitely. I've not played golf for a while, and obviously I used to play golf quite a lot actually. At the time with James Hansen and Chris Brandon and a couple of others. But yeah, one of my best mates, Andy Lee, who was my best man at wedding, again played at Bradford all the way through. So I'm still in touch with a lot of my old teammates. And Andy Lee plays off 4, so he's an unbelievable golfer. He had chance. At the time, he had chance when he left school to actually turn pro as a golfer or turn pro as a footballer. So very talented at different sports.
Yeah, and have you still got your handicap? Mine's the top. Mine's 54, so I'm also. I just enjoy playing now.
No, to be honest, I've never been that involved in it.
No.
But like when I play, every now and again, I can still play to about 12, 13, something like that. So
Well, you'd thrash me then.
so I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad, but it's just a little bit hit and miss.
Where do you play? I play at Shea Grange at the moment. Not Shea Grange, East Morton. We used to play at Shea Grange.
When I play, we play with Andy Lee, and we play at Northcliffe.
I have friends play there.
Yeah, it's lovely course. Yeah.
Yep.
I really
So,
enjoy it.
have you ever watched sort of Soccer AM back in the day?
Yeah, loved it.
So, first of all, we'll do a bit of a teammates round. Slowest in the shower.
Me.
The worst taste in music then, because I do this with everybody in interviews. So
Tasting music.
yeah, worst taste in music, that one.
Tom Penford. He was always into drum and bass, and I just couldn't get my head around it. It was just noise.
Yeah, worst dress sense.
Andy Lee, my God, he's like a typical Del boy. He literally he could be going out with a shirt, but then he'd have silver shoes on.
Yep.
Honestly, his dress sense is awful.
The character of the tin, the Joker, the one who will be a bit of not a bit balmy, but in a good way, fun, laughter.
I've got to say, obviously, going through youth team and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, when I got into first team, I'd say Dean Windass. Just always playing pranks. Pranking. Trying to think off the top of my head. It's a long time ago now. You've caught me on that one. Craig Bentham liked causing a bit of controversy and issues. Yeah, Craig Bentham, yeah.
Yep. Now then, go on then. Messi or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo. I think it's, for me, it's a bit of a stupid weighing up two of the best players ever. Obviously, everybody has a debate about them. You can't say anything bad about them both. They're just two unbelievable players that we've been lucky enough to see for so long. So I don't think there's going to be two players like that ever again. But that's my opinion.
Yep. Your signature dish. Can you cook it all?
Oh, I love cooking. I absolutely love cooking. Signature dish, prawn toast from scratch.
Right,
I love experimenting. Or chili and nachos, salsa. I cook it all from scratch. I love cooking.
Yep. Obviously, did you used to watch Saturday Night Takeaway?
Yeah.
And or Deck?
Deck.
They're brilliant, wasn't it? Yeah, I used to love that. What's your favourite curry, and where do you go for when you go for the curry? Where would you recommend these City fans now to go for the curry? Where's your choice?
Akbar's. I've been going to Akbar since it first opened. I grew up in Pudsey actually, so it's on the border of Leeds and Bradford. There's so many obviously amazing curry houses in Bradford that spoiled really, but I've got to say a lamb and potato balti.
Brilliant. You did that with pilau rice, have it with naan bread?
Everything, pilau rice, naan bread, chips, full shebang. If you're going to do it, you got to do it right.
Yep, and your karaoke song, if you've ever done one?
I can't sing.
You can't sing?
No. I've got to say, back in day, I would have said, if I tried anything, it would be Men in Black. Will Smith, Men in Black.
Yep.
It's not really a karaoke song, but yeah.
Yes, so obviously I want to thank you for your time for coming up tonight, obviously. Before we go, is there anything or anyone you want to mention? Are you doing any charity work this year, or is there anything you want to mention? This is your time to thank somebody or mention a charity of your choice, whatever.
Obviously, Gilly. I play for the Bradford City Vets, where obviously I met you first time. Obviously, the work that Lee Clapham does for the Bradford City Vets, he does an amazing job setting up obviously various different football games and obviously raising a lot of money for Gilly, who sadly got dementia, and it's sad really. Obviously, I knew Gilly from first stepping into Bradford City as a youth team player, and he was a character. My God, he was he either really liked you or really hated you. Now, as a youth team player, you normally were hated from Gilly anyway, but unbelievable character. He's obviously he played for the club and then came back as stadium manager, and he put a lot of hard work, and he's been around the club for a long time. So just wanted to mention obviously Gilly, the reason why I play for Bradford City Vets, not because, well, I don't owe anybody anything, or Bradford City don't owe me anything, but it's always nice to obviously get back out the pitch, obviously have that badge on. I've still got that competitive edge. Obviously, when we played against Leeds, tried to top somebody, so mainly because they had a Leeds badge on, but that's another thing. But yeah, it's just nice to obviously put the badge back on and play with a few old faces that I played with. Obviously, a few more faces are coming now that I didn't get a chance to play with, like Sir Simon Ramsden, Philip Moraes. Obviously, I didn't get to play with James Anson. However, the year that he signed for Bradford City was the year that I was supposed to come back on trial, because Peter Taylor had seen me in the 25-year memorial game, and I scored 2 at Valley Parade, and in that game, and
brilliant.
He contacted my agent at the time, because I was playing non-league, and said, "Oh, do you want to come back?" Obviously, a lot of stuff's on the internet about. I chose to go on holiday rather than come back on trial with Bradford, but it wasn't the case. I was on holiday, and I tried my best to get back. It just didn't pan out that way. But Bradford City signed Naki Wells, so they probably did a better job signing him than bringing me back.
Yep, and obviously I was at that charity game. I really enjoyed it, and obviously supporting James Hansen and putting money towards it. So talking of that and the disability, I spoke to James Hansen because my boss Paul Jubb at the Bradford City training, he's hoping, touch wood, that next year, if it's on, that the disability team can play half time. Well, hopefully James Hansen said he'll try and get that sorted for us.
It'd be great if obviously the club allowed Bradford City Vets, obviously players that have spent a lot of time, and obviously you've got some really big legends now, obviously James Anson, Dean Windass, all these players. I dare say that the club would get a lot more bigger names than myself and even them coming back if they were allowed to play at Valley Parade. It's 1 game a year or 2 games a year that I think that the club should give back to obviously charities and obviously disability groups like yourself.
Because we used to play at Valley Parade, but we haven't done for a while. But I'm thinking about the charity game next year. You know, they got live one. Yeah. So. Yeah, no,
like I said, it's always a pleasure. It's always amazing to pull the badge back on, and like I said, unfortunately, I never reached the heights or got to where I wanted to do with Bradford, but these things happen. Time moves on.
Probably the same, because when I must admit, this is one thing that I admitted to my friend yesterday. When I was a kid, small, because of my height, I was absolutely terrified of football. So I must admit, if the teacher's watching now, I used to forget my PE kit on purpose, even though I had to stand it over in it because I was just a bit. But now I regret. I so much regret that now.
Yeah.
So if I could turn back the clock myself, I'd say I would have wanted to play at a high level, but obviously playing for the club, even for the disability team, it's absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant. It's just like I said, for me, I'm small. I'm 5'8", so I've always been quite small. I was always the small player, but obviously didn't affect me. I was very feisty. That was probably one of my main attributes. That was really competitive. Hated losing. If we were up against bigger defenders or bigger teams, didn't faze me. We had such a good youth team around me that, like I said, we were lucky that when I first got into youth team that we played at Millennium Stadium, which obviously set some of us up for better careers and stuff like that. But like I said, I absolutely loved it. We're playing for Bradford and all the way through was just like I say, it felt amazing. The club's amazing, and like I said, I'm just gutted that I never reached the heights that probably maybe I should have done, maybe I shouldn't have done. But like I say, you don't know what's going to happen. It didn't happen, but I'm very grateful to the club for being there for so long and doing what I did.
Well, that's why I wanted to interview you, to give you the opportunity to say what you wanted. So one last question: what's your prediction for where Bradford City will finish at the end of the season? I must admit, I'm hopeful every season, but I'm not for one being too optimistic. But hopefully, touch wood, I'm going to say top 4, if maybe, I don't know, playoffs at least. Hopefully, touch wood.
I think you'll finish in playoffs.
Yep.
If pre-season's anything to go by, not very hopeful. I've seen the results. Again, I can only speak of when I was at Bradford, when we used to go play Guiseley's or Farsley's or Bradford Park Avenues. We'd beat them 5, 6, 7-0, and that's with youth team and reserves. These days, the team that's turning up to play Guiseley and Bradford Park Avenues are a lot of first team players, and they're not beating them, or they're not beating them comfortably, shall I say? So it's not. This is nothing. Disrespect to the team.
Yeah, like so.
I'd love to see him back in Championship. I'd love to see him back in League One, but wanting him to be there and them physically getting out on the pitch and grinding out results, and like I said, I think the biggest thing for me is Alexander needs to almost rejuvenate yesteryears of the club. Bring the heart and soul back to the club, where even when you're not playing well, you grind out results and get over the line. Like I said, you keep going back to people like Jamie Lawrence and people. These are the characters that I grew up with, and they're the people that I aspire to be like. Obviously I didn't get there, and that's fine, but like I said, for me the club needs to go back to where it started. Obviously Bradford's a working class town, and I feel that they need to bring that back to the club and go, you know what, it's time we give the fans something back to shout about. Because let's be honest, my opinion, all the fans want is to see a player give 110%. Give 100%, run through brick walls. You don't have to be the best player, but that will literally pull everybody together in the city, and you're capable of getting 25,000 every single home game. No club outside the Premier League really can get that. So it's, like I said, to play for a club with a history and everything that it had behind it is just amazing. But I wish them all the best for the season. I'm hopeful. Well, I am hopeful that they'll get in the playoffs and they'll be able to get over the line this time. But like I say, it's hopefully pre-season's just they've used it to get fit, and hopefully they can start the season and kick on from there.
Of course. To me, I'll appreciate everybody's option, like I said, but to me, I don't think pre-seasons really matter. But I know that we need to get off to a good start. So
yes and no. I think breathing, winning mentality is what you base, what you try and get into your teams. No player goes out there to want to lose or want to not to win. However, there's a difference between going out on the pitch and winning and going out on the pitch and coming off not being bothered or not being asked. And for me, like I said, I think if you go back to like your Man Uniteds, your Liverpools, your Man Cities, Pep Guardiola wouldn't accept coming off the pitch being beat by a League Two team. So if you put it in the context of where Bradford City are now, getting beat by likes of Guiseley or Park Ave or whoever, they've been beat by a 0-0s against Altrincham. Wouldn't happen for the top clubs, and that's, like I said, that's I'm not putting the club down or the management down or the team.
I appreciate that.
But winning starts off the pitch. However fit you are, these players are full-time footballers. Altringham's, Guiseley especially, they're all part-time footballers. They shouldn't be on. You shouldn't get near them. Shouldn't get. My opinion again.
Yeah, that's no problem. So I want to thank you for your time, and we'll go inside, and we'll have a beer, and then you can do what, and then you can get home and spend time with your family, buddy. So thanks for coming.
Really appreciate it. Thanks ever so much.
Cheers, buddy.